You stop checking in. You stop doing the meaningful things. You stop asking, how was your day? You stop that. You stop being mindful. When you're not mindful of something, you are just left to whatever is.
Well, that's the other cool part about the Next Level 5 to Thrive. You can change it out. What if I decide, okay, you know what? Instead of 45 minutes of exercise, we're going to go back to 30. You can pivot. Or instead of ROM I'm going to do 10 minutes of foam rolling. It's still the Next Level 5 to Thrive, but you can change them out. You can re-engineer them.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1874, what are your 5 to thrive? Alan was doing something this year, I believe it was for 8 months, I'm going to let Alan get into it, where he was doing there was just too many things.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, my 5 to thrive has turned into my 5 to die. And I said, that sounds fun. I don't think I want to do that because it just sounds pretty bad that you're writing your blog at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever you're writing for 30 minutes at 1 o'clock in the morning. It just doesn't sound very fun. So Alan changed that to a new 5 to thrive. And there's new, I don't want to say requirements. I don't want to say rules. I'll say suggestions. I will let you take it away, good sir.
Yeah, so the original thing was back in 2022, tail end of 2022, Kevin and I co-created an app called Optimal. And we invested some money in it, and it was built on Google Sheets, and it actually worked pretty well for a while there. However, there was some...
It's just the way you said it. It's just the way you said it. Worked pretty well there for a while. Anytime you hear that phrasing...
Of course. Well, we're honest here.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. The first version of everything is usually hot garbage.
It's not great.
Okay? So we had the first version that wasn't very good. Then we did a rebuild for a lot of money. and that was much better. However, it wasn't yet as good as the trackers I've been using. I did a tracker with someone earlier. Shout out to Megan. And so we had the team not using the app, which at NLU, if we're not leading by example, we're never going to sell something we're not doing. It's just 100%. Who we are. And so it didn't grow as much. But back then, the app was built and group coaching was built on this idea of the Next Level 9. The Next Level 9 was 3 habits under health, 3 habits under wealth, 3 habits under love. And you and I co-created that. Next Level 9, it sounds good. And but then we realized, okay, 9 is a little too difficult to sustain. So some people on the NLU team, Kev, myself, some people track a lot of habits, some people track a couple, but for a good starter, for anyone out there who's never tracked habits before, you can start with this new thing called the Next Level 5 to Thrive. I called it the Big 5 to Thrive for basically all of 2024, and Kevin and I are always running experiments, and I coach a lot of people. I'm always trying to figure out new ways to help people unlock their potential by doing things that work. And I'm testing them all the time on myself. I read the books before I pick the books in book club. We've done 18 books in book club, not a single book that I obviously haven't read first. I don't want to, right? So I got to endorse the book. So at the end of the day, I've done the Next Level 5 to Thrive long enough now to know what not to do and what to do. So in January 1st of 2024, this year, we did a monthly meetup called Setting Clear Goals for 2024. And one of my clear goals was I want to do the Big 5 to Thrive. And the Big 5 to Thrive back then was 20 minutes of WhatsApp, 20 minutes of writing, all these different things. None of them were for me. I think the exercise was for me. And so the Next Level 5 to Thrive, new iteration here, I just changed it because I fell off. I was falling asleep in my laptop late at night trying to sustain this thing, doing mobility at the floor of a hotel room when we were traveling, that kind of thing. So the only rule or guideline for Next Level 5 to Thrive, I'll give you mine, is that this is the 5 things that are small enough to where you can sustain them each day, but they're big enough to where your brain says, yes, this matters. So everyone asks themselves this question: what are the 5 things that are for you that keep you operating at your best? These are the 5 things. It can be something as simple as I make green tea in the morning. Simple. Keep it simple. If you don't, you'll burn to the ground. It'll be big 5 to die, next level thrive to die, next level 5 to die. We want next level 5 to thrive, not what I did. Okay? So I have what not to do. Please don't do what I did. Do this. My big 5 to thrive are, number 1 is the Dreamliner. Takes me 10 minutes max, usually less. Number 2 is 20 minutes of learning while I do my protein and my protein Pop-Tart. And whatever, protein in the morning. Then ROMWOD. ROMWOD is a long-form meditative stretching. It's awesome. Freaking puts you to sleep. It's the best. And that's about 20 minutes. 45 minutes of exercise, I think this is a little excessive, but we started with 30 minutes way back. I'm able to sustain it with Emilia. I would not recommend 45 minutes necessarily if you do want to sustain this, but you don't have to pick exercise as one of yours. And then the last one is 1 hour of R&R. If I do those 5 things, I feel like I'm at my best. Even if the rest of the day goes off the freaking rails, I feel like I'm at my best when I do those 5 things. So the next level 5 to thrive is this idea of customize it for you, because a lot of people have heard of the 75 hard. And while I understand why 75 hard is good, it helps you keep the promises you make to yourself. It helps you be consistent. It helps you get on track. I have one client who keeps doing 75 hard, and I do. She flourishes when she does it. So it's a good thing. I do. But I believe that 75 hard, there's a reason why it's only 75 days. And the reason is because no one can do that. I don't want to say no one can do that. Very few people are going to do that for an entire year. And we're all about consistency here. So rule number 1, it has to be 5 things that are small enough to actually sustain. Number 2, it has to be 5 things that are what you would recommend for you. The way that I frame this is, Emilia, I take such good care of Emilia. I adore Emilia. Why don't I take as good a care of myself as I take care of Emilia? So what would I want for her? What are the 5 things that support her and fill her cup? Me as her part. Sleep is one of them, getting good sleep. So what are the 5 things that if you cared about yourself and loved yourself as much as you love the love of your life, what are the 5 things that you would recommend they do? And then write those down and make sure they're big enough to matter but small enough to sustain.
What do you say to the person who hears that and says, I don't have time for those, to do those 5 things?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, I don't either, which is I just have to make the time, and the other things will fall. And I think this is one thing that I've been struggling with a little bit, because it takes a lot of courage to allow things to fall. And what I've been saying a lot lately is the plants that you don't water will die. And with my clients, a lot of us are spread too thin, and we're trying to be good at everything, and it's really quite overwhelming. And so try to pick 5 things that are really, really important, that are, and don't make them all tough. Like, the only really hard one on mine is ROMWOD. The others are very natural. I've been doing the exercise one for 2.5 years. The R&R is easy. I mean, that's great. Love it. Big fan. Throw on an hour timer, food and film. It's awesome. And then the learning has been happening for the last 10 years pretty much automatically. You know, you can learn in the shower, whatever. Dreamliner is fairly new, but not difficult. Only takes 10 minutes. So pick things that are already sort of things you're doing, and maybe add 1, maybe 2 that are a little bit challenging.
I think that's a really good quote in a good direction. The plant you water ends up dying.
No, the plant you don't water.
Sorry, the plant you don't water. There we go. We'll butcher that. Please don't turn that into a quote. The plant you don't water ends up dying. But if you're watering the plants that don't bring anything at the detriment of the plants that do, then everything's kind of dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got to figure out, and I guess this has kind of been the flow recently. It's important to figure out what fills the tank. What fills the tank? What is actually, I think one of the reasons 75 hard is 75 days, because it's not necessarily filling the tank. It's emptying it. We would have to do the numbers, and by we, I mean you. Would you be better off doing 70% for 365 days or 100% for 75 days and then like 30% for the rest of the year?
It's not even close.
Got to be the 70%.
The 70% is for 365 is alarmingly
But I
better.
understand. I mean, it's a movement, and there's consistency, and there's measurement, and there's accountability, and there's community.
Yep.
But I remember when I first saw that, my thought was, I'll just do 70% every day, and
That
then
is
I
the
won't.
better way.
Yeah, I won't have to do the 75 hard, even though it is hard. I'm not doing 70% every day. It's more, but
Well, you and I got offered to speak about 75 hard, and we came in and we were going to talk about consistency and grit and work ethic, but we were canned for that because we don't agree with 75 hard.
yeah, I forgot about that.
You remember?
I
Because
do
we
now.
basically said you don't have to do it the exact way. You can customize. We believe in customizing. That's why I
Yeah.
like Next Level 5 to Thrive, is because it's structured enough to where you can do it. And by the way, when you get a streak going, it's very powerful. Once you have a streak of 5, 10, 15 days, you do not want to break the streak. So you end up really getting momentum. But the reason why you and I got canned, shit canned, for that speech is because you and I weren't willing to say it has to be this way. We want people to customize it.
Yeah, where's the piece in that? Is there a piece in 75 hard about relationships?
Nope.
Pass.
Exactly.
Good.
It's not holistic.
I can do a bodybuilding prep and get yoked. 75. Give me 75 days. I can get absolutely shredded, and my relationship will also be terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not.
Well, that's the thing. It sucks because if you want to be in great shape, you have to go all in on fitness, but you don't want to be in great shape and alone.
I don't think you have to go all in. You probably have to. You might have to go more in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or
It's much more
smarter.
difficult to be holistic. Yeah, you have to be
It
way
is.
smarter and way more
It is.
holistic.
It is. It is much harder. And again, whatever keeps you consistent, awesome. If you resonate with 75 hard and you just keep doing it over and over, awesome. Love it. Good for you. Good for you. It's just this is my truth, and this is scary to share. I could do 75 hard. I'm certain of it. I know I could do it. I know I wouldn't miss. But I also know it wouldn't get me to where I want to go. It's not a matter of whether or not I could do it. It's a matter of whether or not it would bring me to the destination that I desire to get to. And those are completely different. Now, if you and your partner are doing 75 hard together, cool, you're spending time with your partner. Awesome. Right? But we're focused on building a business. We've got to focus on building a business here. I can't be walking twice a day, outdoor exercise. Like, I'm good. Let me go to the gym and let me lift heavy weight and I'll be good. But yeah, it's got to be, I think one thing that doesn't seem sexy is sustainability. Sustainability just doesn't seem sexy. Sustainability is an unsung hero. It is an unsung hero. It is the best thing in the world to get started. It's the best thing in the world to get restarted. What happens when you do something? So this is a really good point. Okay, when Alan started the initial Next Level 5 to Thrive, it was sustainable. It was a stretch for sure, but it was sustainable. When he realized this is probably doing more, I could do it. I could continue doing it. Things in my life would burn down. It's not sustainable based on my core values, my core beliefs, and my core aspirations. What did he do? He made it more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And as it becomes easy, as it becomes like too easy, I'm sure it'll shift. Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there.
Well, that's the other cool part about the Next Level 5 to Thrive. You can change it out. What if I decide, okay, you know what? Instead of 45 minutes of exercise, we're going to go back to 30. You can pivot. Or instead of ROMWOD, I'm going to do 10 minutes of foam rolling.
Yeah.
You can, it's still the Next Level 5 to Thrive, but you can change them out. You can re-engineer them. And I want to share a couple numbers here to the sustainability point. I think this is extremely important. I had a client, shout out to Cole. He said, hey man, I want to do weekly. And I said, that's such a good idea. I'm with you. Let's rock and roll.
Weekly coaching.
Weekly coaching. Yeah. I said, let me show you the decision you just made and the impact of it. I said, is it fair? I know I've told the story before, but I think this is important. I said, is it fair that I can help you once a week improve yourself by 1%? Just 1% per week, not per day, per week. He said, yeah, of course. I said, awesome. Okay. I can help you improve your system by 1%, your habits and metrics. He said, yes. Okay. What about your execution of that system? Meaning you can get a little better at your habits and metrics each week. He said, yeah. I said, okay, that's 3% per week. Do you think it's possible to improve by 3% per week? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I said, okay, let me show you the numbers. Now, again, I do want to make this as clear as possible. I did this with a decade. I'm a long-term thinker. I'm an engineer. Now I have permission to do this. I'm an engineer. Hello, I'm Alan. I'm an engineer. Okay, Kevin calls me the goal engineer. Whatever, I'm an engineer. Okay, so if you take 52 weeks a year, for a decade, that's 520. 52 times 10. If you put $1 in a financial calculator and you grow it by 3% for 520 iterations, it comes to $4.7 million. Guess what happens if you cut that frequency in half and you do only 26 weeks a year?
This is always Jeffed. It's
26
worse
weeks a
than
year.
you think. What was it?
26 weeks a year.
Yeah, what was the first one?
It was 4.7 million.
I'm gonna say it's $86,000.
Nice. It's $2,000. $2,000.
Why'd you say nice? I wasn't even
because I
close.
thought for sure you'd keep it above $1 million.
No. See, I know better now.
Let me pull this up because I actually have screenshots of this. 1 second.
Yeah, that's numbers. Numbers make it so hard.
It's mind-blowing because the compound effect is so subtle. Dude, it's so subtle. I mean, you know this. Some of the things that... Remember how hard it was to start Next Level Podcast Solutions?
It was brutal.
Getting one client was life-changing, right? And now we're very grateful you get clients regularly. It's very important to understand this. And the key is the improvement piece. You have to improve
even
sustainably and consistently over time. Go ahead.
Even from a skill set standpoint, I did I didn't even mention this because I didn't even think about it. Because it's not remarkable anymore. It's not something to be remarked upon. I did a podcast summit yesterday morning for 4,000 people.
Nice.
And I had a moment before where I was like, yeah, this could be fine. We're fine. This could be fine. I've done this so many times.
How was it?
It was great. Yeah,
you didn't even mention it.
I didn't mention it.
You did yesterday. You audioed me. You said, hey, tomorrow I have a...
I got to be transparent because I could very easily say 4,000 screaming people. It was recorded.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be cast to 4,000 people. I want to make sure. I got to be honest here. Yeah. But I was literally
4 billion bajillion people.
Everybody on the planet could see this. So if you're out there, you're probably going to see this. If you're on the planet, if you're not, if you're in the moon, you might not see this. But it'll get there eventually. It's going to be that big. But it's the component of I've just gotten more comfortable.
Was it heard in 250 countries?
It was heard in 275 countries, actually. Yeah.
Kev,
on all 12
can you
continents.
tell that story real quick?
Somebody screenshotted something, and they said, hey, do you think this ad is legit? And the ad said, we helped our client get on the top charts, and they've been heard in 225 plus countries. And I Googled how many countries are there. And I think there's 195, something like that.
Yeah.
And I screenshot it and sent it to them, and I said, no, I would say it's bullshit. Yeah, there's not that many countries. Now, there are territories, but they didn't put that in there, so I'm assuming it's probably BS.
So I just looked up the screenshot. So it's 4.7 million for 3% growth for 52 weeks a year for a decade. If you do only 26 weeks a year at 3% still, so if you cut that in half, biweekly versus weekly, it's only $2,444.
It just doesn't. It will never fully land.
So to make it land,
good luck.
As best I can, if Kevin and I right now, both of us, get 3% better, he does it every other week, and I do it every week. Let's do the opposite because I don't want it to be like me winning. Okay, let's say
Let me
let's say I'm like, you know what? This consistency, sustainability thing, this next level 5 to thrive, it's for the birds. I'm not about it. Let's say I decide to only get 3% better once every other week, and he does every week. In a decade, Kevin will be 4.7 million times smarter, 4.7 million times wealthier, 4.7 million times more capable, more aware, more whatever, right?
I don't think that lands.
I will only be 2,444 times smarter, 2,444 times more capable.
It doesn't land without concrete things. It's hard when you're talking about how much better someone's going to be than they are today, because what does that look like?
Well, okay. Let me try to make this land. This is good. This is good. I know we have 6 minutes. I'm looking at the clock.
Yeah.
All right. I have a client who has definitely been growing by 3% per week. Definitely. She's twice a week, actually. Now, we looked at her content from 2 years ago. Dude, that is a child in comparison. And I'm not trying to be a dick. She and I watched it live, and she had her hand over her mouth going, I can't believe that's me. And all of us have had that experience. I see a picture of me when I was 16, man. Oh my God. Oh no.
Of course.
Yeah, that is the compound effect. It's very, very powerful. I actually saw a post that I made about a bully that I had run into, decades later, and it was a picture of me peeing into a lake while drunk, nice. And I was the skinniest little skeleton you've ever seen, tall, lanky skeleton man, and then a picture of me now, and not now, but at one of my better moments, and the transformation is wild. And I posted about how I was bullied when I was a kid and how I ran into a bully, and there was a little part of me that wanted to pin him up against the wall and beat his ass. And then I decided that wasn't what I want to do, because then that makes it even worse. And then I become exactly, what it felt like to be bullied. So yeah, but it's just wild because day to day, you don't notice anything.
From day to day, progress is invisible. From year to year, progress is impossible to miss.
Nice work.
Positive or negative.
That's facts.
I guess it's hard to say negative progress, but change, I guess. Change. From day to day, I went to the gym yesterday. I went to the gym today. Nothing. Same. Look the same. I might look worse today than I did yesterday.
You won't even know?
I wouldn't even know. But that's why it's easy to get out of shape.
I know.
Because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over months. It happens over months. It happens over years. It happens over decades. You don't fall out of love overnight. I guess you can if something big happens, but you stop checking in. You stop doing the meaningful things. You stop asking, how was your day? You stop that. You stop being mindful. When you're not mindful of something, you are just left to whatever is. If you're eating more than you should and you're not mindful, something happens. If you're eating less than you should and you're not mindful, something happens. If you're spending more than you're making and you're not mindful, something happens. If you're making more than you're spending and you're not mindful, something happens. It's just the something is positive if you're mindful in the right direction. Or you're unconsciously mindful in the right direction. Make sense?
100%. The things that we neglect
die.
Will always, slowly decay, and the things that we focus on will improve. And let's make sure we're focused on the right things. I had something that had come up while you were talking, and I lost it, but
it's probably profound. It's probably because of the profound statement I made. There's probably so much whirling in your brain, just on fire,
Next level 5 to thrive.
Yeah.
You choose. So, Kev, what are you and I had mentioned how you do 5 things for you. You've been doing your learning. You've been doing
that wasn't the conversation we had. I was like, dude, I don't even know. I'm doing stuff. I can find 5. It just hasn't been intentional. I would say 20 minutes of learning while doing mobility, Dreamliner for sure. 8 hours of sleep.
Nice.
Being in bed by 10 is great. Love it. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I think I went to bed at 8:37 the night before. Sleeping like horse shit, if I'm being honest, but the input's there, right? We're doing the right thing. That's good. I can't say exercise every day because I don't. But when I do, When I don't exercise, the reason I don't exercise...
You always get your R&R, though.
Oh, yeah. Kid never misses.
There you go.
Kid never misses the R&R. Yeah, R&R is one. And then, what else do I do for me? I weigh myself every day. That's for me.
There you go.
I want to make sure
Weigh yourself every day.
This body's a temple. 8 hours of sleep.
8 hours of sleep.
R&R.
R&R.
6 hours of R&R a day.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8 hours of R&R.
Can't work past noon. If I'm going to get my 8 hours of R&R, I can't work past noon.
8 hours of R&R, 8 hours of sleep.
And then weighing myself.
Weighing myself. Yep.
And gratitudes with Taryn. There's a bunch. But think about how long it takes to do gratitudes? It takes a minute. You know how long it takes to weigh myself? 15 seconds. Those are all very, very... Dreamlining for me takes probably 7 minutes. I don't write as much as Alan does. But there's a reason I don't, because I know if I'm filling up the whole page, I'm not going to want to do it consistently.
Yep.
So there's a thought process behind that. Cool. I'm glad we did this.
Same.
I enjoyed this episode.
Next level 5 to thrive.
Next level 5 to thrive. If you need help figuring out what your next level 5 to thrive is, reach out to Alan. We'll have his link in the show notes. Totally free. He's not going to sell you on anything. Not going to get to the end and say, all right, cool. Wire us $26,000.
I will sell you a bajillion-dollar coaching package.
You can't afford the $26,000. I sell something. I don't care. Sell your vehicle. I don't steal it from your friends. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do to get it over here. You might get better from it. If you are looking for a group, and I'm kidding about that, obviously. If you're looking for a group of like-minded humans who are into growth, evolution, and next levelness, that is what Next Level Nation is all about. We'll have the link in the show notes for that as well. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans, we have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Stay consistent. Next Level Nation.